What are your crimes, Mark? Yes, what are your crimes, Mark? Did you beat your wife? Did you kick a pup? We'll find your crimes and rake it up. Did you laugh at Hubbard? That's not nice, and now you'll have to pay your price. So what are your crimes, Mark? What have you done? Oh, it's too late now. Fair game's begun.
Fair game indeed. My God, nobody is safe around here except for Kelly. Nobody touches Kelly, okay? Leave Kelly alone, everybody. She's here to be the perfect host and does all the dirty work here. You know, I'm lost without her. Lupita's here. How about that? Hi, Lupita. Nice to see you. Always first, Kelly says. There you go. See, Kelly's on top of all this stuff. And Lisa in Brooklyn just popped in. Hello to you. Good evening. Nice to see you. Oh, look, Unstoppable SP. Hi, Mr. Bunker and Kelly. Hello to you as well. Oh, look at everybody popping in here. It's Nurse Lori. Aloha, everyone. Aloha back to you. Haggis Basher. Hi, Mark. Hi, Kelly. All right. Thanks for coming by, everybody. I do not have a lot of stuff for you tonight, but I hope you'll find it interesting what I do have. And then we can just, kind of chat, whatever you want to talk about. Fuzzy Pink Handcuffs is here. Hello to you. All right. Hey, but while we're waiting here, I guess I want to talk about a couple of films I just saw over the weekend. If you like horror films, this is a great one. This is one of the best I've seen in ages. And it is, if there had been no horror element to this film, it still would have been a great movie. There's this film called Sinners that's out in the theater right now. And the development of the characters, the atmosphere, everything about it was incredibly compelling. And then eventually there is a horror aspect to it, which is good. That's all extremely well done. But I tell you, if it hadn't been there, I would have wanted to follow the story of wherever, these characters were going. So if you see it, I think you'll enjoy it, even if you're not a big horror fan. Because that's it's not one of, I can't say there's nothing bloody in there at all. I can't. But at least there's a supernatural element to it, which is what I like in a horror film. I do not like people with chainsaws. Anything that, you'll run across in regular life, whether you're on a Texas farm or standing next to Elon Musk on a stage. People with chainsaws, no. I want nothing of that. But if you have a chance to see Sinners, so well acted, so well written and directed. The atmosphere, I knew very little about the film going into it. I saw the trailer and I got the sense from it, well, this is kind of like the sensibility, the look and the feel of The Color Purple, and so well done. So I recommend that if you like horror films, and if you don't like horror films, well, leave about 20 minutes before it's over. You wouldn't even have noticed the horror, okay? Because it comes in late in the film. Then the other one I saw, World of Difference. Set on the other side of the planet. And that one is a gentle comedy. The Ballad of Wallace Island, as I believe the name of it, as I remember. It's one of those things where I go, I'm not sure what this film is, but got good reviews and it looks charming. I'll go see it. So there are a lot of times when I'm buying a ticket, I don't even know what the film is really. But this was a lovely film. no chainsaws, no nothing. It's about a guy who's won a couple lotteries, and he's got himself a lovely island, and he decides he wants to have a concert with a kind of folk duo who split apart years ago, and he wants them to come together again to do a concert on the island, but he doesn't tell the guy that the woman's going to be there. So it's kind of a surprise, and then there's all sorts of things that envelop from there. But some good laughs in it, and a few good tears as well. And ultimately, I thought that was a really, really nice little film. So those are my two recommendations for the movie theaters. And then, of course, you got, stuff going on TV. Like, you folks who don't like horror, you probably aren't watching The Last of Us, but there was an important episode last night about that. I won't go into it. No spoilers, even though what happens in it, anyone who's played the game knows what's going to happen. And then, let's see, Doctor Who. There's a Doctor Who, which I saw some people like this episode of Doctor Who. I don't know if you watched The Doctor. This one was one I was dreading from just seeing the season previews, because it involved a villain who was a cartoon character who came to life and hopped off the screen. And I thought, okay, well, I mean, it's high concept. I love Doctor Who. I'll give it a shot. But it didn't work for me, really. It's one of the few episodes where I have to say, I don't know. But then I saw other people who loved it. So it's just me, I guess. Are you talking about? I'm watching that here in the chat here. Watched Haggis Basher says, I just watched a German film about Scientology, and after watching, I felt a bit gross, to be honest. And Kelly's asking if that was Until Nothing Remains, which was a really nice, I think it was a TV film about a divorce involving a Scientology couple. And I thought they did a spectacular job in that. I haven't seen it in a number of years because it's been out there for a while. But they did a great job of showing locationals. They kind of walked you through a whole bunch of stuff that Scientologists do in their training. And the through story, I think, is a real life story about a split and the custody battle with the children and the impact of Scientology on the family. So if you haven't seen that, it's out there. You can find that on YouTube, I'm sure. And Haggis Basher says it was really well done. So, what else? What else is happening here? Well, I've been rambling. Yeah. Well, that's about it. I think I'm all caught up. All right. So that's my media stuff for today. Scientology, Kramer versus Kramer. Indeed. Salty. Let me put these on. Salty Rider, hello to you. I don't think I welcomed you before. Kelly says, yeah, that's pretty much it. Scientology, Kramer versus Kramer. So what I have tonight, it's not anything gigantic. George Massey is here. If my eyes are not deceiving me, there you go. It looks like George Massey indeed. Hi, Wise Beard Man, and your sidekick Kelly. Oh, she's much more than that. She's the woman in charge. She's the one responsible for every single thing I utter. I don't say anything while passing it by her first. Okay. So we've got, don't blame me for that mess. Okay. Thank you. All right. I guess I can't blame her for everything. You know, if something goes wrong here, it's me. If everything's perfectly smooth and you have a wonderful time, it's all because of Kelly. Oh, look. And look, Kelly, all your work, your hard work is paying off. Look, Haggis Basher made sure to hit the like. So there you go. So everything's smooth sailing here, I tell you. So I've got a couple short things that I want to show you tonight. One is a video that I got again from the German news site from Peter Reichelt. And be like Haggis Basher and hit that like button, everyone. Kelly's correct. Got to listen to Kelly. Mr. Wise Beard Man, Kelly didn't get a notification. What? It's not Kelly's fault. It was my slapdash putting this together as I've been doing battle with other things tonight. It was one of those things where I went, ooh, I've got to find something to play. Oh, JB808, that's you. Hey, JB. So JB808, one of the things that I spent way too much time tonight doing was switching over my cell phone service so that I have unlimited data now, so I can go out there and do some streaming with that delightful gimbal that you got for the channel here. Thank you. And just got that working. Got the phone connected again, like around 9:30 tonight. And then it was, oh yeah, what do I have? Oh, I do have a couple things here I can show. And JB808, I'm thinking of you. I'm out there. I'm trying to get this done. In fact, if I had gotten this done a little earlier tonight, I was thinking, well, I should just go out and do something from the streets. But I'll do that soon. I have to do a few test runs, make sure I've got everything going there. But that will be integrated into the channel shortly. So tonight I've got this one piece about the RPF in Copenhagen that I think is interesting. It's a short piece. It's got some interesting detail in it, though. And I have encoded this in 4K. I've upscaled it, and I've also created subtitles for it. And the subtitles you can see on YouTube. So we're going to watch it from YouTube because I had put the subtitles onto the video that I made, but I can't just play the video here on StreamYard and have the subtitles show from here. But I can play it on YouTube and we can watch the subtitled version there. The one that I've been working on that took me, all day to do half of the subtitles, that I'm burning in. So they'll always be there, whether you like it or not. If you watch the video, the subtitles will be burned into the image. Not the way I normally like to do anything for myself, but I think it's going to be easier to watch it that way on YouTube. And easiest way to support Mark, hit that like button and make sure that you're subscribed. It's easy and free. So true. No truer words were ever said. Maybe. It's possible there were some other words that were truer that I haven't heard all the words out there. So I'm just saying it's possible. All right. So why don't we take a look at this video? It's a short one, but I think it's got some interesting stuff in here. In order to do this, I'm going to share the screen here, and let's bring this up. See, once again, smooth. And I have to go over here to start it on YouTube. Everybody, bear with me. And here we go.
Ortswechsel im Zentrum von Kopenhagen. Wieder ein Hotel, diesmal das Scientology Hotel Nordland, wieder mit integriertem Straflager. Wen wundert's, dass sie uns hier nicht wollen? Wir haben uns dort mit der Dänin Susanne Schernekau verabredet. Fast 2 Jahre ihres Lebens verbrachte sie im Straflager hinter dieser Fassade. Über ganz Kopenhagen verteilt liegen die Gebäude der Organisation. Alle sind zu renovieren und für die Kunden von Scientology auf Hochglanz zu bringen. Viel Arbeit, die bewältigt werden muss. Wie Wiebke H. wurden auch Susanne Finanzmanipulationen vorgeworfen.
Mein Vergehen waren nach Scientology finanzielle Svindel, also Svindel mit Finanzen. Und dass ich mich sehr schlecht benehmt, dass ich in München zum Beispiel mit einer normalen Person essen gegangen bin, weil ich verheiratet war, ist das nicht okay.
Am 13. November 1989 war es für sie soweit. Sie wurde in das RPF in Kopenhagen eingewiesen, wie das Dokument belegt. Ethik, Moral bei Scientology? Ein Verstoß wird hart bestraft. Scientologys Ethik ist gleichbedeutend mit totalem Gehorsam, Unterdrückung und zwangsweiser Umerziehung. Wer Fehler braucht, der findet sie. Je nach Bedarf werden mal mehr, mal weniger Strafarbeiter produziert.
Zum Beispiel gab es in Kopenhagen ein Gebäude. Es war total zerbrochen und da haben wir von unten bis oben alle Tauben und so weiter ausgelasst vom Fenster, Ratten und Mäuse und so weiter, alles sauber gemacht, angefangen zu malen, tapezieren, renovieren, alles.
Wir haben immer das Letzte gegessen. Nur das Frühstück war eigentlich okay. Aber sonst war das Essen sehr schlecht. Die Betten waren sehr schlecht. Wir schlafen 12 Leute in einem Raum.
Das Gemeinschaftsgefühl der Gruppe wird groß geschrieben. Besonders in der Eliteeinheit der Sea Organization, kurz Sea Org. Von Hubbard geschaffen ist sie das Herzstück von Scientology, seine Privatarmee. Sie wollen die Weltherrschaft, da braucht es schon eine Armee. Und in die kommen nur die Besten rein. Unsterblichkeit, Macht, Einigkeit und Unbesiegbarkeit. Rasselnde Säbel und dann der Absturz. Unerwartet und tief.
Man lebt mit dem Überzeugnis, dass man schon alles im Griff hat. Und wenn das dann passiert, dann sieht man ein, dass man nicht alles im Griff hat. Und irgendwie fällt deine ganze Vorstellung, dass du ein Teil von der Elite ist, auf dem Fußboden. Man fängt in den RPF an mit einem schwarzen Armband. Dann, wenn deine Ethik gut vorangeht, dann kriegst du eine weiße Armband. Der Unterschied ist, mit dem schwarzen Armband und als verheiratete Person in der SIOG, dann darfst du deinen Mann nicht sehen. Du darfst ihn nicht ansprechen, wenn er nicht zu dir redet. Mit dem weißen Armband darfst du 3 Stunden pro Woche mit deiner zweiten Dynamik, also deine Familie, dein Mann, eventuell Kinder, zusammen verbringen. Du darfst immer noch nicht deinen Mann ansprechen, wenn er dich nicht anspricht. Dann kannst du noch mehr werden. Das heißt, dass du ein goldenes Armband verdient. Und mit einem goldenen Armband darfst du eine Nacht pro Woche bei deiner Familie übernachten.
Den Aufbau des RPF kann man sich so vorstellen, wie Susanne es sich im Lager aufzeichnete und auswendig lernte. Chef der Gruppe, aber auch gleichzeitig Mithäftling ist der Bosun. Unter ihm ist der Esto, zuständig für die Arbeitseinteilung, und der MAA, der für die Einheit und Lagerregelung verantwortlich ist. Darunter der Tech, zuständig für Material und Ausrüstung. Der Qual überwacht die Ausführung der Arbeiten. Das Fußvolk bilden die einzelnen Sektionen A, B oder C, Arbeitsgruppen bis zu 10 Personen. Diese werden auf die aktuellen Renovierungsprojekte, wie hier Clearwater, verteilt. Die Kontrolle untereinander ist allgegenwärtig und perfekt. Keiner kann sich ihr entziehen.
Man beobachtet alle anderen und weiß, dass alle anderen auch dich und alle anderen beobachtet. Also das ist normal. Jeder kann zur Seite treten. das ist die wenigste Leute, die das selber erkennen will. Das heißt, andere Leute macht dich darauf mit einem Wissenbericht oder Knowledge Report aufmerksam, dass du einen Fehler gemacht hast. Das heißt, du musst diese Fehler in die Augen schauen und handhaben irgendwie, auf irgendeinen Weg. Und dann zeigen, die Gruppe zeigen, dass du wieder gut drauf bist. Ne?
Das sind die Knowledge Reports, mit denen man seine Linientreue beweist. Jeder beobachtet jeden, jeder verrät jeden und bringt dies zu Papier. Hier schwärzt Susanne eine andere Arbeitsgruppe bei ihren Vorgesetzten an. Jede kleinste Notwendigkeit muss im RPF-Lager schriftlich beantragt werden. Susanne bittet, ich habe nur einen Arbeitsanzug und keine Kappe. Ohne vollständige Uniform verstoße ich gegen die Regeln und den Anzug muss ich dringend waschen. Antrag abgelehnt. Anweisung, wasch den Arbeitsanzug am Abend und hänge ihn in den Heizungsraum, damit er am Morgen trocken ist. Das europäische Hauptquartier von Scientology in Kopenhagen. Tausende von Anhängern strömen Jahr für Jahr in dieses Haus, um sich in Kursen der Unsterblichkeit zu nähern. Wir wollen Susannes Aussagen überprüfen. Zusammen mit ihr treffen wir dort die Pressesprecherin von Scientology in Europa. Sie erklärt sich bereit, über das System der Rehabilitationslager Auskunft zu geben. Für sie eine einzigartige Chance, ethisch wieder auf Vordermann zu kommen.
Well, there is a program that is allowed for a person who may...
Well, okay, that is it. Let me come back up here. Hello. So I didn't put up any of your comments as I normally do while we're watching this because it would have covered the subtitles. But it's just amazing that something like the RPF could exist anywhere on the planet, let alone here in America. But to see it spreading around the globe wherever Scientology is, that it's pretty remarkable. Yes, Copenhagen is where that was, which I believe is Denmark. I could be wrong. Who came in here? Eric Rader came in to say, hi, Mark. Hi, Kelly. There you go. Hi. Now I know TWSS. I can't think of what it stands for, but that's what she said. I knew it. Okay. I just couldn't say it. All right. So it's just another one of these videos that we're over on the German news site that and I've been going through and upscaling as many as possible that are feasible to upscale. There's some that are just too poorly off that you really can't do much to improve them. But while we're waiting here, let's see. Elke Antioch snuck into the room. Good news, Lord Zeno has risen from his fiery but mostly peaceful volcano that we may forget about our sins, general mucking about, murder, not rewinding all those VHS tapes in the 80s, etc. It's good to know. So there's another piece of video that I saw this afternoon that may anger some people. But I'm just going to play a snippet of it. I like watching the streams of Rick Wilson. He's a Republican guy who works for the Lincoln Project, and they've been pretty hard on, I think his name is Donald Trump. But I was watching a video this afternoon, and it was about Pam Bondi. And lo and behold, he mentioned Scientology. And I thought it'd be fun just to share that little part of the video. Aha, Haggis Basher loves the Lincoln Project people. Well, that's good to know. There's something. I love his profanity because in a lot of cases it's unnecessary, but him it's poetic. He's like George Carlin. He can elevate the obscenities to a work of art. So you're probably going to hear a little bit of that in this. Counterslam worked at Hollywood Video and Blockbuster Video, and he's submitting reports on all of you who didn't rewind your videos. Yeah, shame on you. I, of course, got out of the videotape part of this a long time ago and moved over to Laserdiscs and then DVDs. I remember I had a friend who ran a laser store in Pasadena. I used to hang out at all the time. And when they first announced that, I think it was Warner Brothers was the first one that was releasing DVDs. I was telling me, oh, look at these 10 titles here. This is very exciting. We've got 10 movies that are coming out on DVD. And the only one I can remember right now is Twister. But I'm pointing out how much nicer this is going to be to have a small disc instead of having a big laser disc. You have to flip over in the middle of the movie, or if you get one of the really nice laser discs, you may have 4 sides or more to a film. And I remember my friend running the store said, yeah, good luck seeing those being affordable. And yeah, they were. They were much more affordable than the laser discs were. I remember, I traded some stuff in for it, but when the Star Wars trilogy came out on Laserdisc, that was a big event. And I think it went for like $250 because they could soak you for it. Because dopes like me, if you had cash, you would just pay cash. Otherwise, you would find things to trade. But by God, it was interesting to see my friend's store just kind of get whittled away to nothing. Because that industry died. While we were there, though, there were some notable people who were members at that place, including Judge Ito, right in the middle of the O.J. Simpson trial. Judge Ito would come in occasionally. I didn't get to see him. I heard he was there. There was a fellow that was a studio executive, and I'm trying to remember what studio he was at. I think he was originally at Columbia. I think we called him Columbia Guy, I think. And then he went over to Fox, and we still called him Columbia Guy. But he came in, and he was talking about, we got this. We got something that we're working on. It's going to be spectacular. I Dream of Jeannie with Britney Spears. And this is before Britney Spears went nuts. And my reaction was, do we need that? But I also was going on to what was a very popular site at the time, Ain't It Cool News, where you'd be spreading all the gossip about what's going on behind the scenes. And I kind of shared that with Ain't It Cool News, and he was not happy about that. And maybe I put the kibosh to the whole thing. Maybe if I just had kept my mouth shut, we would have had a series of I Dream of Jeannie films with Britney Spears. I remember he also came in one day and he was just going, oh my God, we're working on something that's huge. We're gonna steal this franchise away from another studio. Oh, it's one of the biggest around. It's just, it's gonna be so spectacular. We can't do anything about it now. I'm not gonna tell you what it is. And I went, James Bond. And he just froze and said, no, not James Bond. But it turned out they were trying to get James Bond. And I think, I don't know if that's when they did the Sean Connery film, Never Say Never Again. Or it was a later attempt at it, but they did not get it. But I loved the reaction his face when I said, James Bond? Because that was clearly the only thing that you'd be talking about. Yep, there you go. Elka Vaniak says even remakes were good before 2000. Kurosawa's Ran and Seven Samurai were brilliant indeed. Yes, indeed. They weren't all, though. I mean, there were plenty of remakes during that period that sucked. Well, Garrett Kennedy wants to talk about Scientology for some reason. With all that is going on with Scientology, how can they still have taxes and status? As why is nothing being done about this? Well, I'll tell you why. Because nothing's being done about nothing. I mean, it's amazing how little really gets done by the government. You gotta, if you want to get rid of Scientology's tax exempt status, you're going to have to first go through Congress, have them do hearings on it. You got to get somebody willing to bring that to the floor so they can, vote on whether they have hearings. And who are you going to turn to? Nobody wants to get involved in anything of any major importance. We can't get anything done on the national level. And it's not that much better on the state level. Locally, when I was on the council, of course, we sailed through everything. It was smooth sailing. Barbara Eden is the one and only genie. Yeah, that's true. Barbara Eden is spectacular. Barbara Eden is still around and still spectacular. I remember, well, she has a Twitter account. I don't think she would call it X. No one should. It's always Twitter to me. I hate it when they still do this in print. On X, formerly known as Twitter, no, just ignore X altogether. Just say it's Twitter, for God's sakes. Okay. So I was talking about Rick Wilson. Let's take a quick look at the comments he made about Scientology, shall we? I'm going to share that screen. All right. Okay, so he said, where did I go? Oh, there I am. He said something kind of caustic about Trump here, and I cut that part out, and we're going right to the Scientology section. All right, so let's get to it. Boom. I'm going to do that. Let's put them full screen because I'm good at this. I can do that with just a push of a button. And then I have to come over here and push another button to see me again. And there we go. Now I have to go back there to push the button to play it. Here we go. Rick Wilson in all his obscene glory.
Lest you think Donald Trump is the only person who ever paid off Pam Bondi, think again. Florida is sadly the home of a large portion of the Scientology operation. And these people they're bad people. Rampant fraud, abuse, even manslaughter cases around Scientology in the last 25 years in the state of Florida, murder cases of people that they basically tortured to death. And Scientology is based out of Clearwater, Florida, right across the bay from where Tampa is, where Bondi used to live. But lest you think Trump's the only person that ever paid her off, somehow, when she was running for attorney general, very wealthy Scientologists started doing fundraisers for her. Very, very wealthy Scientologists. There were a lot of them. And somehow, she completely lost interest in those cases. It just disappeared. Whoosh. She also, during the financial crisis, was investigating on paper, a big sort of payday loan company, this lending company. And oh my gosh, after a couple of donations and a couple of fundraisers, those cases just disappeared. Isn't that a miracle? Look, there's a pattern here. And I could go on and on and on. There are a lot more cases. Her obligation to the office was higher than an ethical obligation. I never understood it quite, but I do now, because she's in the perfect position to ignore the ethical responsibilities of being an attorney, particularly an attorney general.
Hey, quiet. There you go. Anyways, nice that Rick brought up Scientology today. He's a Floridian himself, and during the last election, he was not only trying to somehow unseat Trump, but he also had a candidate here in the state who was a Democrat, who I met a few times on the campaign trail. Whitney Fox is her name, and she was the only other candidate that he was on a soapbox for, and had her on a stream to talk about her campaign. And man, she was spectacular. But it was not to be for any Democrats this last election. So we lost out on some fighter who would actually be working for the people of Clearwater, for the people of Florida, rather, including Clearwater. Anyway, that's politics for tonight. I just had to share those caustic comments from Rick Wilson. If you want to check him out, you can find him on the Lincoln Project, and also he's got a couple other streams that he does. There are people who are really successful doing their political streams, and it's taken away from actual news channels, because it's so much easier to go online and have instant commentary from all these folks from all sides. Just because I'm listening to Rick Wilson doesn't mean there aren't way more people listening to Joe Rogan. Anyway, that's it for that. What's Elk saying here? Elk is talking about zebras. If Scientology was a zebra alone in a zoo, it would be shot. But it's a zebra grazing in a pack of anti-racism grants and corporate jet flyers. It's protected by its third dynamic. Okay. There you go. And here's an important comment that I missed. Haggis Basher says, I never thought anyone would be a better Wonder Woman than Linda Carter, but I have to say Gal Gadot was excellent. I'm really excited to see what's going to happen in the DC universe now that James Gunn is in charge of it. I don't know if you've been watching any of the trailers for Superman, but I have to tell you, hey, I got to tell you, folks, as Bob Hope might say, I saw this last trailer for Superman that came out a few days ago, and it was spectacular. So I have high hopes for this. And what James Gunn is doing with his DC now is he's paying tribute to the Silver Age of DC Comics. Silver Age was when I was growing up, when you can go down to the drugstore and buy a comic for 10 cents. And they were just insane stuff, because you had Bizarro Superman. You had Red Kryptonite that every time he encountered it made something go wacky. You had a little elf called Mr. Mxyzptlk, or however you pronounced it, that would pop in and cause trouble. And Crypto the dog was introduced during that period, and Supergirl. And there was a super horse as well that Supergirl was fond of. So seeing Crypto in the first trailer for Superman, that was kind of exciting. It surprised the hell out of me. Oh my God, crypto's in this. But then there was another more recent trailer that shows a little bit more of crypto's introduction, and it had me laughing out loud uproariously. And just seeing everything else that was going on in the trailer, it looks like they're really, really doing it right with him being a beacon of goodness and hope, which is what we want from Superman. And I have every reason to believe that that's going to be a really strong film. No chainsaws in it, just giant fire-breathing monsters. So looking forward to that. And Dusty Soda Dispenser says hello from Clearwater. Mark, good to see you as always, and you as well. Haggis Basher says, I want Henry Cavill back. Well, it's not going to happen. But I think once you see this new guy being Superman, you'll see that it was a good change. Henry Cavill's fine. I had nothing against him. I didn't think the darkness of those DC films really suited Superman. 50 watching and only 42 likes. Kelly is coming down hard on you. Come on, hit those likes. Because, who else in the Scientology world is right now talking about crypto and Supergirl and Super Horse, however the horse was named. Sasia, just in time. Hello to you. Nice to see you. And there's a super dog right there. Marcy? Did I say hello to Marcy before? I think she may have snuck in while I was not looking. But hello to you. Going back here. Checking out everybody. Checking you twice. Okay. So, I can ramble on and on about Hollywood and movies if you'd like. I really have nothing much that else that I was going to talk about tonight, except anything you wanted to talk about. Missing in Happy Valley was one of the first docs I saw in Scientology almost 20 years ago now. Time flies, says A777. Yeah, it's one of the first ones that I put online, well, way before I even had a website. I had a VHS copy of it that I turned into real media file and sent over to somebody in Europe who put it on their site. So it's good to see now that it's online and looking beautiful. Never better. Snooky says, hello all. Come on, everybody. Say hello to Snooky. Hello, Snooky. Save the garden, definitely, for sure. Yes, that's what I was hoping to talk about tonight. I was hoping to have Magoo on with me, and because I couldn't get a commitment from Magoo at this late date, I said, I'm just going to wait. But tomorrow night I'll probably be talking more about Save the Garden, because it's important that we get people out there, get people aware. On the 29th, there is a public forum, so people can come and speak about that in front of the city council. You each have 3 minutes if you want to come on down. And it is not going to be at the downtown library this time, as the council meetings, where the council meetings are held. This one is going to be over at the Countryside Library. And well worth dropping by. And we need to pack the room with people who are concerned about the city, turning over a block to Scientology. El Cavantiac says if he were anywhere near Clearwater, he'd speak about the garden. Well, good to hear. Bridge 1872 says, I wish we could have Save the Garden billboards in Clearwater. Would be nice. Kelly says, I hope Aaron mentions that to his chat. He probably will. There were people in the chat asking during his last protest stream. Who else is talking about Superman and Supergirl? Every Scientologist at the Superpower building, I imagine. Well, there you go. Good to catch a live Snooki. Well, and wow, what a great one for you to catch. We're just rambling now. Normally, if you were a fan of the channel, I think normally you realize I come in well prepared and everything's smooth sailing. Not this ramshackle thing I'm doing tonight, for God's sakes. So for all of you folks who are disappointed that, all I can talk about are superpowered dogs, I'm sorry. So Dusty says she's going to be out on, Dusty will be out on Garden and Court on Friday. Very good. I imagine there'll be a lot of folks out there. Dusty's been saying it in all the chats. Good for you getting out there and making sure everybody knows. Bunky and Magoo, the OG dynamic duo. Yep. Russ T asked a question. Who paid for and owns all this property that the church has snapped up? Does it belong to individual Scientologists who are all sitting on it? Or did the church reimburse each purchaser? Well, it's kind of hard to say. But Miscavige certainly controls them all. It would seem like this is a coordinated effort by Slappy. It was his idea to put together this footprint, according to Council Member David Albritton, that he said he had to buy all this property to do the rebirth of the entire downtown in the image of David Miscavige. So it's hard. I find it hard to believe that individual Scientologists were not being funneled money to do this, or at least instructed. Okay, we need you guys to be buying a certain amount of property down there. As they certainly bought up everything, and it's not under Scientology's name. It's not under Miscavige's name. It's under these LLCs that do not have to reveal who the actual owners of the properties are. But Miscavige can snap his fingers and get them to do what he wants with the empty buildings, or not do anything with the empty buildings, depending on what best suits Slappy's needs at the moment. I don't think there's any doubt that there's coordination here and that this is Scientology's plan. This is Miscavige at work. But is it illegal? I would think so. I would think it's racketeering. And that's what I told the FBI. Miscavige is creating a problem that only Miscavige can solve. That's racketeering, for God's sakes. And the FBI said to me and Aaron and Mike Rinder when we went to talk to them, got to give me some evidence, some piece of evidence that I can take to a judge before we can do anything about it. Because as folks on the city council say, it's not illegal to buy property. And it isn't. You have every right to buy property and do what you want with it, within reason, I guess. There certainly would be some restrictions. But the property rights for owners in Florida are strong. So you cannot do a lot of things to punish people if they're not putting a business into their empty buildings. They just have to do the modicum to keep them up to code, so that the place isn't going to burst into flames on its own accord. No one's, and if anyone goes into the buildings, they have to be safe enough to enter. Beyond that, that's the only thing that the city can actually control. Are they up to code for safety? Yep. Yes, Kelly points out DM hasn't been showing up in our chats the last few times. He's got a cult to run. Money talks and good sense doesn't play into the game, says Stasia. Xenu TV with a Z, how dare you? Do you have any original footage of Steve Fishman or any updates since his release from jail? I'm just rereading Lonesome Squirrel, and it's almost Canterbury Tales religious satire. I put up all the Steve Fishman, his testimony. He was recorded in, what do they call that? He is being grilled in some sort of lawsuit, giving his evidence. And I did have that online. I think I probably do still. And I haven't upscaled it. I don't think I will, because he's a nutty fella. And listening to his stories, they're not really based in reality. I'm going to do a quick search here and see if I can find those videos. Well, I see somebody has on YouTube a site called Across the Table has the Steve Fishman full-length deposition. There you go. So let me. I'm just gonna. Well, this can't be right. I'm seeing this site here. Let me share it. Now, in the description, it said it was the full-length deposition, but this says it's only 21 minutes long, and this cannot be Fishman here. No, that's not. Where'd Fishman go? Let's go to my channel. See if I have it on my channel still. Let's see. Do a search here. Yep, there you go. I still have it. So you can go to my site. So I've got the Steve Fishman deposition that I put up 12 years ago on YouTube. It was on my old website since around 99, I think. It's probably one of the earlier things I put up, at least when I was at the LMT in 2000. I had it online there. But if you want to see it, just head on over there to Xenu TV and type in Steve Fishman. You'll find it all out. You'll find it all there. But it's not strictly what Scientologists believe. Some of the stuff that he's talking about in there is not exactly part of Scientology itself. I do wish you'd clean it up and remaster it, says Elk of Antioch. Well, let me take a look here and see if it's possible to do much with this. Let's take a quick look here.
Okay, Steve. Okay, let me ask you this question. Before you got involved with Scientology, if someone asked you how old you were, what would you have told them?
I would have said 28,
Okay.
29. Right?
After you got involved with Scientology and you learned the truth, how old would you have told someone you were if you...
76 trillion years.
Okay.
Now, I should point out that that's 76 trillion Earth years.
Uh-huh.
But there's different kinds of time. There's linear time, there's chronological time, there's three-dimensional time. On some of my auditing folders, they go back to quadrillions and quintillions of years because there's a formula to convert that to Earth years. I just wanted to let you know so that there wouldn't be any problem with that.
Okay. Just as a way of our getting started.
So if you want to sit and listen to that, it is there for you. Can I clean it up? I don't know that I can. I certainly can get rid of the hum. That's not a problem. Stasia Flonez says 76 trillion bottles of beer on the wall. Everybody join in. Hello, did y'all like my joke earlier? I did not even see it. Let me go back and see if I would appreciate it. I just joined. Where? Not sure oh well. I'm sure it's a brilliant joke, and I loved it. I loved it a lot. Any other requests? Other videos you'd like to see upscaled if possible? I always am open to suggestions. A lot of it has to do, though, with the quality of stuff. And I'm not opposed to putting up of stuff that's of questionable value. Like I do think Steve was not all there. But I've got, stacks and stacks of VHS tapes here beside me that have some stuff that hasn't been seen in a while. So getting back to Garden Street, yeah. The 29th at the Countryside Library, I hope there's a huge turnout. People can talk about anything there, not just Garden Street, but I have a feeling that that probably will get a big focus if people are aware of it. And not everyone is aware that this forum is announced. It's like when you put up an ad for the sale of Garden Street. Not everybody sees that ad. And so the city can say, hey, we're going to have this meeting. And they do send out emails, a little community report saying, here's what's happening in Clearwater. So it does get listed there. Not everybody checks the emails. So not everyone's going to be aware of it or even on the mailing list for city stuff. But if we can get the word out, that'd be great. All of us need to jump in there and just point out that this is a valuable time to speak out, as we've got this meeting, and then we've got the council meeting where they take the vote on it, which is, I think, May 17th, somewhere in the middle of May. And then that'll be it. So if we can get some more folks going to that website that was put up for the Garden Street. Somebody's got to help me here. What's the address? Kelly, you probably have the address handy of the website that the folks with the Garden Street Park plan we got to push that. And that's when I'm hoping that Tori will join me as we talk about that, because she was active in Scientology when they were trying to get something that Scientology wanted accomplished way back when. Thought it'd be interesting to see how Scientology dealt with the city at that point and compare it to today. Can I tell you something? I guess I can, because the mic's right here, and who's going to stop me? But I just want to point out that I have not had air conditioning in a week. They came and fixed my air conditioning like last Monday, and by Wednesday it was out, and it's sweltering in here. So it's a little distracting. So unless you folks have something that you'd like to talk about, I think, it might be good for me to cut it short tonight. Oh, here we go. Save Garden Street. Thank you. Let's head on over there. Did you put that in the private chat? I guess not. I'll just do a search. Come on.
I've got friends and family that are vehemently opposed to this.
I've been called many things, but weak is not one of them.
Sure, I'm probably hurting a lot of feelings.
You're seeing debate, uncomfortable debate in a very challenging situation in our community. Look what we got. You're all complaining about it. We have nothing.
Hi there, I'm Brooks Gibbs, a resident of Clearwater, Florida. What you just saw was the city council arguing over a controversial plan that involves the Church of Scientology. I was in that room that day, and it was packed with people who were against the city selling more property to the church that already owns most of downtown. The entire room was heated.
Vacant storefronts downtown, a lack of mom and pop shops. Those are just a few of the concerns that citizens brought up tonight at a Clearwater City Council meeting. They were there, though, to talk about one thing mainly. They were speaking out against the city possibly selling a public street to the Church of Scientology. Fox 13's Brianna Arredondo takes us to that meeting.
The city held a public hearing Thursday night on selling South Garden Avenue between Court Street and Franklin Street to the Church of Scientology for $1.375 million. The church expressed to the city that they want to close that street, but dozens of residents packed the council chambers arguing against the sale. They say the church owning more property contributes to the dwindling businesses downtown.
But this sale doesn't reflect community need. It reflects the wants of a powerful organization that already controls too much of our city center. We deserve better.
Because if we lose this piece of city in silence, we lose the rest of it the same way, like we have been losing it.
Once again, Scientology wants to take another piece of Clearwater, as if they don't have enough already, and bring it under their control.
So how did this street come up for sale? Well, I'll tell you. David Miscavige, the leader of Scientology, negotiated with the city of Clearwater to purchase Garden Avenue. This street is in front of their flagged building. Through strategic negotiations over the last year, Miscavige secured the 3 votes that he needed from the city council to push the sale through. None of this was public knowledge. As required by law, the city had to make a public announcement about the sale of the property and invite competing proposals before the sale was final. But here's the problem. The city did not post a sign on the actual property, nor did they post anything about it on their website. Instead, they posted the announcement in a Tampa newspaper, which requires a subscription to access. Therefore, most Clearwater residents were completely unaware. Now, this strategy of buying up properties outside the public knowledge is exactly how Scientology and their partners have secretly secured over 75% of downtown Clearwater, leaving most of the properties empty and undeveloped. And just days before a vote was about to take place, my friends and I came aware of this transaction and rallied together to design an alternative proposal. We wanted the property to be something that all of Clearwater could use, and our design kept the street intact, but added a very special memorial park, a place for us to remember what Clearwater used to be, a memorial garden on Garden Avenue, a symbolic stake in the ground stating that this is our land too. With only 1 hour left before the deadline, I personally delivered this proposal to the city manager. And this is what happened.
I'm Kelly Meyer. I apologize. We're unclear of the procedures and just wanted to make everyone aware, if you're not, that there's an alternative proposal, but we're not sure when in the process we'll be able to present that alternative.
If there's no objection, I think we go ahead and if someone has a proposal to present, I think we should go ahead and, any objection from any other council members? So, Kelly, whoever has the proposal, would they like to present it now?
Hey, thank you for your service. I'm Brooks Gibbs, a Clearwater resident. March 17th, there was a woman by the name of Miss Barbara Sorry Love. She runs the a wonderful little organization called the Clearwater African American Foundation. And she had said, and made it into the paper, and that's how I heard about it, that she would love to see the city dedicate some space to honor the African American heritage that's there.
My name is Barbara Sorry Love, and I know many of you on this. And I'm here speaking on behalf of the Clearwater African American Foundation. And our purpose and our mission is to honor, promote, memorialize African American landmarks, foundations, and land sites. Back in the day, Garden Avenue was one of 3 major African American communities here in Clearwater.
All right. Well, you know what?
There's this forgotten area that no one seems to talk about called the Garden.
Well, sorry to cut that short. We watched it all, one of my last streams, and we'll watch it again in full before the 29th to kind of bring more attention to this. But let folks know, if any way you can, that they need to support this project. And if they can make it to the public forum at the Countryside Library, I think it starts at 5:30 on the 29th, and may have a time set for it, but I think they'll be able to go over, because it's taking the place of the comments at the end of the meeting normally. And generally, if there are a lot of people who want to talk, they can talk. So it may say it's like an hour and a half long. It could probably spill well over that, but starts at 5:30, as I recall. The Clearwater board members need to do something for all the people of Clearwater, not just Scientologists. That is true. And they think that they are doing something for the people of Clearwater. They think Miscavige is really going to revitalize the downtown that he has personally kept dead for decades now. They have every faith that if they just give Slappy what he wants, which is that street, that they will go ahead and come through and make a bustling, thriving downtown that, of course, people of Clearwater won't go to because it's controlled by David Miscavige. And you know how, I'm sure you're aware that Scientology already is putting pressure on businesses not just the businesses that are in buildings that are owned by Scientologists, but even like the guys at the piano bar, the dueling piano bar, who are involved in this Save Garden Street project. Scientology will come in and make demands of them. No, go away. So, I remember hearing even back when the LMT was open, back in 2000, 2001, there'd be people who said something critical about Scientology, and Pat Harney, PR person, and Al Butner stormed over to this guy's job and tried to have him fired. And that was not an isolated event. If they found out you were critical, they would try to stop that, any way they possibly could. So having Miscavige being able to micromanage every aspect of every business downtown is not a good thing. But the council believes, hey, we got to do something different because all these other councils before us, nothing's changed. So if we just give David Miscavige what he wants, boom, it'll be a huge success and we'll get all the credit for it. All right. Maybe they're right. I don't think so. But there you go. Hey, Kelly's got an important message here. Affordable membership packages for everyone's budget starting at just $2.99 a month. Wow, that's a huge help. Imagine the air conditioning I could get with just another member. So somebody else would keep me, keep that thermostat down. So Slappy is just going to say, oh, the city needs money, sell me this, once they create that precedent. Yeah. The Slappy wants everything. And this is going to just create another huge block of their presence downtown. Just continuing to create this monolithic area with the Fort Harrison, the Flag Building, and the L. Ron Hubbard Hall. That's a giant part of the campus. And Slappy want businesses coming in between that and the Sandcastle and everything else. Do they want people sitting in that park based on the way to happiness precepts? No, they don't. They just want the street. And if they can convince those two new council members plus one more to give Slappy what he wants, well, then they're sitting pretty. I is the site taking donations for the garden, Save the Garden Street thing? I imagine they are. I don't know. I don't have that page up here again. All right. Well, as you can see, I have faded fast. So I'm going to close her down here. And I thank y'all for stopping by. And I will be refreshed and have something exciting for you tomorrow night. Thank you for understanding. And you folks have a great evening out there. And I will see you again soon. All right? Bye.
What are your crimes, Mark? Yes, what are your crimes, Mark? Your crimes are hidden, they should be seen. Spin all out, Mark, and just come clean.